Does the Ace of Spades mean anything to you? I know that sounds like a strange question, but this morning I found this deck of cards in my room, and I know I didn't put it there. And I was going through them, and they're all blue cards, all except for one in the middle. And you guessed it, it was the Ace of Spades. Now I know the Ace of Spades doesn't mean anything to me, but I also knew that I was meeting with you today, and I thought perhaps maybe you could help me out. So as I go through the cards, I just want you to touch one. Touch any card that you want. Don't let me influence you. Actually, better yet, let's do it face up so you know exactly which card you're getting. Just touch any card that you want. The Seven of Clubs? That's an interesting choice. It's nothing like the Ace of Spades. But there was something I didn't tell you. On the back of the Ace, there was a post-it note, which I'm sure you saw before, but I didn't bring much attention to it because I didn't want it to influence the card that you picked. Okay? I tell you what, I just want you to hold on to the corner of the Ace. Okay, so you know I don't do anything funny. All I want you to do is see what's underneath this post-it note. I think you'll find it pretty incredible. There's a Seven of Clubs that was written. I had no idea how that was done. But I tell you what, let's try something else. Can you hold out your hand flat like a table? Beautiful, just like that. Put it right on top. Put your other hand on top of the Ace. And I just want you to just imagine the inks on the Ace. All the ink that makes up the Ace, I just want you to imagine that it's starting to fade. It's starting to fade away into a blank canvas. Now I want you to imagine that the ink that would make up a Seven of Clubs would start to form. It starts to flood into the blank card and starts to form into the Seven of Clubs. And you can keep this as a souvenir. Now, I'd like to show you the coolest trick I've ever seen in my life. I'd like to, but I can't. Frankly, because I don't know how. What I can show you is something pretty similar with a post-it note that was signed by a spectator right on the line. Now, the first time I ever saw this, I was in elementary school and a magician came in and he did a lot of cool things, but one of the coolest things that he did was with a newspaper, and he had it signed, and all he did was he showed his hand empty, and he started to rip it right down the center, right down through, very slowly, very deliberately, right until the very end, when he took those two pieces and he did something that I never forgot. He said, "Watch." And he took the pieces and he just waved them. And when he waved them, they just fused right back together into one whole piece. And before he gave it back, he took the Sharpie himself, signed his name, and gave it to me as a souvenir. Okay, for this, we need two cards. I always like to use the Ace of Spades and whatever card you would like to use. So you just name one. Let's say to use the Five of Spades. That's beautiful. We'll get back to it in just a little moment. But for right now, it's important that you understand that we need to be able to tell the difference between both cards, not only on the face, but on the back as well. Which is why I always bring this guy with me. Okay? Just give a little nick right in the corner of the Ace. Now that really is a real hole. You can see right through it. Okay? And do not even for a second take your eyes off the hole. Watch very carefully. All you have to do is give a little rub. And when you rub, you can pull it right down the length of the card. A little further and a little further until it comes all the way off. Hand the card out, hand the hole out, ask them to think of the card that they just merely named. Okay? And throw it back into the deck. And hopefully, if everything went right, there's one card that's a little bit different from the rest. And the reason for that is because it caught something. Your card. Alright, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Kyle, how do you do every card trick ever? Right? That's what you're thinking. I thought so. That's why I came prepared with this special deck of cards. And I know upon first glance it probably looks like a normal deck. Well, that's because the faces are normal, but the backs are where it becomes a little tricky. On the back of each card, there's a subtle indication that allows me to know what the face of the card is without actually having to see it. It's pretty cool and it allows me to do a lot of cool things. I could shuffle through the cards. You would tell me to stop somewhere. Stop. Alright, and I would show you the card that I cannot see. Okay. And I would already know that it's the 10 of hearts. It's pretty cool. There's not much to it. All I had to do was look at the marks on the back of your card, and I knew what it was. But let me show you. Let me show you on your card. Yours was the 10 of hearts, I believe, right? 10 of hearts. Because once you actually get to see these marks, you'll think that's really cool too. Alright? So while you were looking at the face of the card, I was busy looking at the marks on the back. Okay? Now they're right along the spine. Now if you don't know what to look for, it might be a little tricky to see. Also if it's not in good light. Okay? So let's go over here a little bit. Perhaps this is a little better. Do you see the marks now? They're right across the face. Now once you see them, you can't not see them because they become very evident. And these are the marks that I looked for, and that's how I knew that your card was the 10. It's pretty cool, but I told you that it's not just a marked card, it's an entire marked deck. In fact, the 7 is marked, the 2 is marked, really every card is marked. But I wanted to be on the safe side, which is why I marked them all the same way. They're all 10 of hearts. Every card is a 10 of hearts. And that's how to do it. That's how to do every card trick ever. So go ahead and put the practice into it that it deserves. And go out and fool your friends. Catch you later.